All right, everybody, welcome to the show tonight. This may be your mistake. We're gonna find out here, but we are taking off the filters. Have you ever wanted to have your beard experience raw and unfiltered? Well, you're about ready to. We are going to take off all of the stops. We're going to talk about current events, the things that are going on right now. So sit back, most likely offend somebody, but we're just gonna have a really good time conversation. Mark Eddy is joining us for this party. So everybody sit back, grab something to drink. This is gonna be fun. Welcome to the Three Beards podcast. My name's Craig, along with Austin and Chris.
Passed to a new generation of Americans born in this century.
Let me out.
I'm afraid that is quite justice and honor in Massachusetts colony?
All right, everybody. And we're just going to go right in it. Mark Eddy's here. Hey, how are you? Well, okay, now he's back. Now Mark Eddy's here. How are you?
Now I'm back.
Oh, my God. So host of one of the plethora of nightlight shows, producer, man who is the collector of many books. Not even for lack of trying. He has tried. Many times. We always point it out. He has tried to be the fourth beard, but
sending him.
Yeah, but he can't. So, like I said in the promo, smooth baby faced Mark Eddy is here. How are you, sir?
Oh, fine. Doing all right, considering that it's like 32 degrees and snow squalls keep coming through, but
that sounds fun.
Just getting through it each day. Ready to continue having a very low social score starting last night with Charlie Robinson and continuing with you three tonight.
Well, we're just trying to keep you. We're trying to keep you up there. So, it's. Oh man, and it's every time Chris says that's I'm excited for the snow. I just want to see that Doge meme. I just want to see it just come down out of the screen, just bonk, just smack him on the head. It's like no, it's ridiculous.
I'm telling you, I love it.
Oh my God, no. So we just decided this was going to be a crazy one that we just wanted to get this out there, and we're just going to talk about random stuff. So when everybody's watching, everybody can comment too. One of the things I brought up with the guys, myself, and brought you into it, is I'm not sure how many people are aware of this, but the other day we raised ourselves to DEFCON 3 in national thing. And so for anybody that doesn't understand that, I can go over those real quickly. The DEFCON levels, there's 5 of them. Obviously DEFCON 1, we're Mad Max. We're in nuclear war. I mean, the missiles are flying. DEFCON 2 is red alert. 3 is yellow, and so it's elevated. And basically, what that means is the exercise term is called roundhouse. It just means that everybody is preparing and becoming ready. And this is a lot of this has to do with China and Russia are really ramping themselves up, especially between Ukraine and Taiwan. And I don't know, have you guys been paying attention to that at all?
I've been following a little bit.
Chris, you?
No, I seen a little bit about it on the world news today, but didn't really catch too much of it.
And that's what's really surprising me is how little people care and how little people are paying attention to this.
I got my news from the Rick Stacey morning show.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It is like you said.
He talked
when you
about
hear
a little
these
bit of it. He talked about something about they're trying to quietly and carefully pull out of Ukraine without making another Afghanistan. I was like, I would hope we do that. You guys fucked up bad in Afghanistan. Now you're trying to pull out of Ukraine.
We're not in Ukraine military. I mean, we don't have military buildup. It's just we've told them that we would aid them, but this happened. I want to say, Mark, correct me if you remember, Crimea. Didn't that occur right at the end of Obama's term? The annexation where Putin took over Crimea after the rebels, broke free, aka Russian allies.
Something like that. And
yeah,
I think you had Bosnia happening in the Clinton administration.
Mm-hmm.
It's the former Eastern Bloc countries have been forming their own governments over the last 30 years or so. So there are a number of them in Uzbekistan and places like that. They're all have been becoming independent over the last 4 administrations. I forget what years.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, so they were there. So this one. So Russia's got they've got well over 100,000 troops on the border of Ukraine, and they're calling it training exercises. And so they're really pressuring. They want to rebuild. Vladimir has not made it a secret. He wants to rebuild the Soviet Union back to its original glory.
They are training. They're doing training activities.
Yeah, that's so that ramps up. But the crazy, I mean, my big thing, like for me, is the reason I believe that it's occurring too is right now Russia and China really see a weakness in the U.S. We are so divided. Right now, we're so worried about what pronouns to use and what to call people, what we're supposed to do, that honestly, the president of Russia and China, they're going to look at it and they're going to think, what do we have to fear from these generations that we have right now in the U.S.? They're so worried about, making sure that everybody knows what they're called over paying attention to anything else, that, they're basically viewing this as go time. And Debbie, hey, welcome to the show. Nice seeing you again, getting there. I said, well, welcome everybody that's watching. If you have any comments, questions, like I said, please just chime in. We're just talking current stuff that's going on, anything that's popped up in the news. There's several things. Have you guys noticed anything that did you see that Fox News, their tree got burned?
Yeah, I saw that, and I didn't know if it was true because it didn't pop up more.
Yeah. Hey, Sarah, how are you? Yeah, I'll share it on the screen here. It's right on the front page of the Drudge Report, right here. A guy climbed in there. This isn't a real tree. He lit this tree. He brought it up here and he set this fake tree on fire, and so it burnt. This one, I guess if I remember from the article, it takes him like 21 hours to assemble this tree. But it's just, he just climbed in there and just lit. Homeless dude just climbed in there and just started burning the tree.
What? He was cold. He wanted to warm up. We don't need water. Just let it burn.
Yeah. Craig, may I go back to the
which one? Russia?
Ukrainian situation when we have a minute.
Yeah, no, go right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. There are the satellite images that have been shown on TV.
Yeah,
It
they
seems like there's just a lot of equipment at that was filmed by the satellite.
yeah, it's I'll bring up a picture.
Yeah, since it's media stuff, is that
Yeah,
fake?
this is courtesy of CBS News right here. But this right here, there's possibly 175,000 Russian forces there. They've got satellite images of these massive deployment areas where tanks, artillery, there, and you can see these spots that they have them in. This is, I believe, this is Crimea down here on the bottom. But you have in several different locations. So, I mean, this is staged for, this is more than just, training. I mean, they're actually posturing.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one, so this is, here's a little close-up one. So, I mean, as you can see, this isn't just like a small, each one of these things is a vehicle. So this just isn't some small little force that they've got there. So, that's ramping up. And I don't remember, that's what I think. I don't remember the last time that we were at DEFCON 3. I can't remember. I think that was probably, it's been a few years.
Were we at DEFCON? We had DEFCON 2 and Trump in like the first January 2020 when like China was trying to attack, right? Was that? It's been so long, man. That year was so missed.
I can look that up. I'm not sure the last time that we were
wasn't it
at
like
DEFCON 2.
January it was China, and then February it was Australian fires, or was Australian fires first, and then China, and then March was Kobe died, right? And then it was just like a string of shit all throughout the year, and then COVID just kept on ramping up.
Yeah, the only time we've been at DEFCON 2 was during the Cold War, October 22nd, 1962.
No, we just talked about it. It made
that's when
World War III.
That was a Cuban Missile Crisis. Well, that's what I said. 3 is like the normal crisis one, and so here, continue on a second here. I'll be right back here. Hold on.
So
kids. She keeps talking. That was a weird year.
What did you say? It was very
weird. It's been, and it's only last year, but it just seems like this year's gone by fast too. I mean, it's December 8th of 2021 and shit.
So somebody had to ask me a question. Sorry, it was going to be hard to balance the show and that at the same time.
Did you see Tiger Woods came back?
Now came back or just had a? No, right there. Yeah, I just see that. He's announcing a golf return 10 months after the horrific car accident.
Yeah, he's actually playing. He's actually going to play with his son. I guess he's coaching his son or playing with his son. I caught bits and pieces of that. It seems his son's going to be the next Tiger Woods, I guess.
Nice. Now if you can just keep off the call girls, he'll be okay.
No, she actually worked for the restaurant Black Rock.
Yeah, well, it's and I agree. Like this one right here, we try not to, through our show, we try not to do politics, like you said, because it's like I've never wanted to side Democrat, Republican, because that's never been the thing. It's like right now that's definitely part of it, because they see the president right now, he's in the struggles he's having. They don't have a fear of this guy, and that's part of the problem right now. Is it has nothing to do with the politics side. They're just looking at a guy who is having trouble keeping a clear thought together while he's getting disoriented. He's meandering. He can't keep these things together. So when you're taking somebody like I'm going to butcher his name. I want to say it's pronounced Z. XI. From President China.
And it's Xi.
Yeah, Xi. It's something like in Vladimir Putin. These are major, potential adversaries, and they look at somebody like this. If they're sitting down, I could guarantee you that Vladimir Putin was not intimidated at all in
He
that in that video conference that they had. At no point was Putin looking back like, "Whew, man, you know."
He seemed to be smirking at times.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Because he's, you know, you've got him over here. You know, I ride the bear. You know, here to this conference. You know, with my shirt off. I put my shirt off just for this. You know, because normally I work out. And then, you know, and you know, the guy across the camera is reading a cue card that somebody's holding up right there for him to read word for word. And he that's not intimidating to somebody who only, you know, former KGB officer. I mean, this guy's not some, you know, softy that's just going to be like, you know, you're right. You had a good point. I need to back off. I mean, he's only going to understand force, and that's, you know, and so in the same way with China, they don't respect, you know, there's that term, the paper tiger. They don't respect, you know, somebody who's fake. They don't see, you know, they don't see any honor of, you know, accepting that. So that this is not going to be something that they're going to sit back. So right now, I mean, we're definitely seeing something like it could be go time for marching into Ukraine, marching towards Taiwan. And if that's the case, as a U.S., you know, see what you guys think. I mean, what honestly are we going to be able to do right now? I mean, look at TikTok, look at social media. This is the generation that would have to be drafted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, it looks like we lost America.
And that's, you know, and so we'd have two different conflicts. We would have on two fronts. We would have an Eastern front, you know, with China in the Pacific, and then we'd have, you know, it's I think they'd almost be like two Eastern, you know, but it's like you'd have a Pacific front and you'd have an Atlantic front. You'd have these two completely separate areas fighting two vastly, you know, strong forces. I mean, they're not small.
Well, get ready, Austin. You're just young enough to enter the draft.
Yeah,
Austin did make a good point. You know, when he was talking about the crises in 2020, and there's with the wildfire. You know, he said the wildfires, and you know the Rona appeared, and he said something else, and then it's just been the Rona ever since. But you know, just doing a show like this, you know, we're just talking about current events. It's just, it just seems like we are being barraged even more with, you know, these celebrity trials, one right after another.
Mm-hmm.
It's just non-stop. Who knows if they're even real? Or, yeah, there's always the possibility of it's just staged to take your mind off of a real trial, like the Ghislaine Maxwell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was. That's crazy.
Austin just brought up something, and I thought that was very relevant.
What I say, go with what you just said right there. Okay, everybody, we're talking about.
You're onto something.
We're talking about COVID, you know, all the time. You know, so here's the thing. That's 24/7. How many people? And I mean, it's gonna be hard here, you know, because there's gonna be a few of us. How many here know about the Ghislaine Maxwell trial that's going on right now? That's been paying attention to it.
Nobody.
I don't think you can follow it very closely if you're not in the courtroom.
Mm-hmm. And the sad part about this, and this is the sad thing, is everybody knows here about the latest rapper getting, you know, something happened with him, or this latest sports team thing. This trial is about a global sex trafficking network.
Mm-hmm.
That everyone from members of, you know, it doesn't matter, elites across the globe, politicians from across the globe, the royal family, presidents. This goes down, have all been tied to Epstein and this woman, and nobody is talking about it. Everybody's just pretending like it's not really happening. They're so worried about this new variant coming out. This is the news. How about we focus on protecting the kids? That's the thing. Protect the kids. Just protect the kids. That's what we focus on.
You have a list of stuff if it's 100% true. These are all CEOs. Disney, Microsoft, Amazon, Hulu, IBM, LinkedIn, Uber Eats, Salesforce, eBay, MGM, Nestle, Volkswagen, MasterCard, Nissan, Victoria's Secret, Bed Bath & Body Works, T-Mobile, Harley-Davidson, Velocity, WeWork, Jewel, Tinder, OkCupid, and Hinge all stepped down in the past couple weeks.
Wow.
And this happened. This got shared November 30th, and I shared it 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know any of this. It's not going to be part of the news. I mean, you heard Twitter got the Twitter. What was it? He stepped down, and then you saw the guy that took over already saying, "We don't give a damn about your Second Amendment rights. This is our company.
Ooh.
We can do what we want."
Well, it's
Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, and that's just it. It's like, here's, this is the argument. Twitter, Facebook, this is their sandbox. YouTube, this is their sandbox. We have to play by the rules. But the problem where, because everybody pitches the First Amendment rights, I have a right to free speech. Well, we're under their platform. We follow under their rules that they set. But the problem is Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, through Google, Alphabet, they lobbied the federal government, and they've used their access with the federal government to restrict other entities, to crush other entities that are trying to come up as sources. I can't even think of the name of it. Do you remember the Twitter alternative that tried and it got shut down?
Well, there was
Bender. What's it called?
No, that's the thing. I can't remember the name now, but it was a Twitter alternative that was trying to start, but it was instantly cast as white supremacists. And they did everything they could to make sure, and it crashed and burned, because once you're labeled that, you've got half the population that doesn't even do research, and they just take the word of everybody that's going, all the articles that are there. And then you're like, yeah, I'm not using, I don't want to be called a white supremacist. I'm not even going there. And Twitter wins. Jack Dorsey won. He had his cocktail parties, and nudge, hey, I need you to take care of this for me. And it happens. Well, at that point, isn't there some responsibility of an entity now to where they have to be held, in a different light, that they're not just, they can't just go by the rules. They actually have to abide by free speech, because they've made themselves the gatekeepers. Parler. Mona, thank you.
Mona's.
Yeah, that's correct. It's Parler.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's. And
I thought that's my bad. I thought that was for Facebook.
No, that's Facebook. Is what is it? Wemo?
MeWe.
MeWe. I don't know where I just came up with that. Maybe that was another one. Yeah, MeWe.
But it
sounds dirty,
Craig,
doesn't it? MeWe.
Yeah, you're talking about.
Why don't you come hang out on my MeWe?
God damn.
Come hang out on my MeWe for a while. See what we could talk about.
The MeWe.
Craig, you were mentioning that you get an upstart company. They are. That means that there is competition.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the trend where you don't let the marketplace decide if you have two competing businesses, both are doing fine. Just let them do their thing.
Yeah.
We're kind of gotten to the point of some businesses, like you were saying, they have the government's backing to eliminate the competition. That's becoming more like Don Corleone business.
Well, yeah, you get out of line to get whacked.
We shut down anything.
You just kill the heads of the 5 families.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
But that's so, you have these different entities now. So when we have something like Facebook, Twitter, that doesn't allow this discourse now, you've hamstringed the free speech because everybody's on these, because there's no other way. I mean, I'm sorry, if we were off Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, we're not getting, hardly anybody's going to see our show, or going to be able to listen to our show. I mean, you basically eliminated our voice. But so they have some responsibility to that right now, and it's, you have the fact checkers that come on here. Well, who, that's the problem with the fact checkers, is who monitors the fact checking. I go, you get somebody like me, if I say I'm leaning liberal and I don't like what you three are saying, all I have to do is just make something like, yeah, no, that was false. Boom, that gets struck, that gets taken down. Your account gets shut down for a little while. And that anybody that's in a show knows consistency is a key.
Absolutely.
If you don't see us for a couple weeks, you're like, oh, well, that sucks. I like those guys. Too bad they're not on the air anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, in a way, that's an effective way to shut something down, because we're dependent on people, watching the show, having Mona, Sarah, and I'm going to say, okay, Nana. I don't know your first name, but we'll just go, okay, Nana. And, they're watching right now. And that's something that's incredibly important as long as we get out there. So who holds them responsible? Chris, you say it all the time. It's like, well, we should just boycott. Well, where are we going to go?
Yeah. I mean, if everybody turned off the book for 3 days, if you could get everybody to stay off the book for 3 days, it would stop. They would let you say what you want to say. But somebody would be like, oh, snap, I got a lot. Oh, man, I'm not supposed to be on the book today. Well, I'm going to stay on the book for a little while. I mean, if you could get everybody to stop the book for a little while, it would go away.
It's like, I heard recently that Instagram has it for teenagers that you have after a certain amount of time, it'll pop up, hey, you should take a break. And they were talking about, how about we just shut the whole app down completely? Don't say, hey, you should try to do this. No, shut it down. That's the only way it's going to get done.
Yeah, they actually had a lawsuit in court saying that the gram is actually toxic to teenage girls.
It is.
Put it on the gram.
Yeah.
That's Laura. Laura, thank you for watching. Debbie, thank you for watching.
But yeah, I mean,
I'd be surprised if the show stays up, honestly. We're going to say the wrong thing on accident and it'll get shut down.
Well, that's just it. It's like, it
sucks.
You want to have real discourse. I mean, and this is for everybody that's watching, anybody that might watch, you have to ask yourself, when did we become so sensitive and so, uncontrolling of our emotions and stuff like that we can't do the simple thing is, I didn't really care for it. And you just go to something else.
2016.
Well,
2015.
Yeah, everything's 2016. Right when who came to president.
Well, it's been doing that for a while. I mean, it's not even. I wouldn't even say it was as late as that.
Worse.
I mean, this goes back to. I mean, we can go back, years, decades, to this thing, to where it's gotten more and more to where, literally, because the saying always used to be, "Sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can't hurt me."
I used to hate that saying.
And that's the thing. But anymore, just the statement is when somebody says something, they take that as such, it's such a soul crushing thing now, because everybody is so used to the social media where if somebody says something derogatory, I mean, boom. I mean, we're to the point now with the pronouns. Like if you walk up to somebody, you don't know if you're supposed to say they, them, she, him, her,
he,
cis,
she,
non-binary. And you wonder why, as a society, we're having trouble communicating and seeing, eye to eye and agreeing with each other, Well, one, they're causing this part to where we don't even know how to communicate with each other anymore.
Absolutely.
I feel like my generation is the worst off right now because we grew up, yes, ma'am, no, sir, yes, sir, no, ma'am. And now we can't say that anymore. And it's been bred in our brain for 26 years to say this, and now it's offensive. It's like,
yeah, because
I don't know what to say anymore.
there's a huge difference between being mean, tearing somebody down. It's like if I come walking up to somebody and I say, "Hey, how's it going, man?" "Oh, I'm not a man. It's like this is a personal offense. I go, this wasn't a derogatory statement. I go, but this feeling that that everybody has to be conformed to you in order for society to move forward is part of the problem with everybody. There's this thing where people have got to realize you are not the center of the universe. No. People don't have, are not required to listen to your opinion. But so many people have gotten this thing in their head that when I say something, everybody must listen to me. I am important. And trust me, I am not, and this is me saying for me, I am not this important thing. Like, once I speak, everybody must listen to me. No, you guys can turn this thing right off right now. You can say, F this guy, right. I'm out of here.
That's your right to turn it off. Keep scrolling.
But the problem is we're getting away from having rights. Everything is being controlled by everybody. Like, you can't do this, you can't say this, you can't go here, you can't. I mean, it's like.
And Mona is correct. Good luck. Instant protest, and that's what it is. And going up to somebody, like if Chris goes up and says, man, she looks really, she looks really pretty, that would people, if it was something, they'd lose their mind. How dare you, misgender me? I mean, and this is the thing. It's like, you realize this person is not doing this thing. There's a huge difference between doing something intentionally because it's going to piss somebody off. There's the whole thing. But then there's something when you're just having a normal conversation. And that's what's being lost. And Mona's correct. Good luck with this. I mean, it's just you make one little mistake, and you got the guy. I'm going to do it right here because you got the guy at at the game store. It's ma'am. And it's one of those. But most people would be like, excuse me, sir. I'm not a sir. I'm a ma'am. You're like, well, how am I supposed to know that? You've got a beard. You're walking up right here. I mean, you're going to naturally assume this thing. Doesn't mean they did it on purpose because they're being thing. It's just, that's what you go based off what you see and not, that's what it's just, it's one of this times like where it makes my 46 feel like I'm 80.
Yeah, you act like you're 80.
Be careful what I'm saying here. Do you think after COVID, we're starting to have our vaccines? I'm trying to dash this thing here so we don't get in trouble. With all these mandates going on, do you think that people are starting to realize, like, hey, something ain't right? Do you think it's happening more and more?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're starting to wake up more with everything, especially with New York. Just, I think it was today or something that said you have to have a vaccine no matter what.
Yep.
Even if you want to go out to eat or go out. And I heard about Australia.
Employees.
Yeah, like I said, listen to 105.9, Rick Stacy. That's where I get most of my stuff from because I'm driving to work. But you're talking about Australia, where a lady had close contact with somebody. They came to her house and picked her up and stuck her into a quarantine camp.
Australia.
A quarantine camp?
It's a quarantine camp. Uh-huh. She was forced because she came in close contact with somebody. So I'm like, yeah.
Well, it's just Chris, we have this conversation all the time, and it's like for me, it's like with getting a shot or something like that. I don't have a problem with vaccines. This is the thing, because I've got hepatitis B, measles, mumps. I have all these ones. I don't have any fear of this one. It's like, but this one that's out here right now, I'm waiting because right now I don't see the point of taking something that I'm still going to be able to catch it.
And like somebody
I took measles because I can't catch the measles now.
It's like
I won't get the measles.
You have the vaccine and you magically, sorry, we're going to get really banned on the show.
I expected it. That's why I said it's raw and unfiltered.
You have this vaccine, go get it. All right, cool. You push for it. But like someone just said, there's going to be a booster for every variant because you can't get it right. You know what I mean? There's already a booster. Now the Omicron. There's going to be another booster for that one. So how many boosters are you going to take? You know, and I you don't like hearing it, but it's just like the flu shot. There was no boosters for flu shot. And
now they're talking like, okay, now you need the 4th shot in the spring. So and you're going to need one like this time next year for the cold winter dark months. So there's 5 within about a 2-year period.
5, absolutely.
So when is it going to end?
And I like this right here. They say just allow grocery stores in New Brunswick to ask for a V-Pass to get groceries. I wore this hat just because I was playing around with Craig, but most of our listeners, they don't give a shit about this because I feel like they want something like this. Look at Florida. I mean, I live in Florida.
We're open, baby.
And it just came out a couple of weeks ago that per capita in the entire United States of America, we have the lowest COVID ratings, and Michigan has the highest. I mean, and like it just came out saying that, okay, well, an area of Florida where we kind of live, in the Orange County area, says, oh, it's spiking up. And then someone said, oh, I wonder why that is. If you think about it, we're one of, I think, 3 or 4 international travel cities. Miami, Tampa, and Orlando.
We're the number 1 tourist destination in the world.
Obviously, our county or the county we are around us is going to have the most because we're internationally traveled.
And that's the thing. We're talking like the shot thing. Think about go ahead.
But I thought if you're going to get on the plane, you have to test negative for it. So how's it coming from one area and all of a sudden emerging as a pandemic in Orange County?
That's a great question. I mean, they say you have to have a negative thing to get on the plane, but how are they getting by and they're coming? I don't know. That's a head scratcher.
And what was it? Wasn't it recently Brazil that something about Brazil? I can't remember exactly. And then they had like no COVID cases, and all of a sudden they opened up to the traveling, and you're only allowed to be vaccinated. And all of a sudden, a COVID case is brought up. Only people in Brazil were vaccinated. How did that happen?
But we had I had a serious question. We had this lady on the news, right? She had just came over here from Brazil. She was traveling, and she had an attitude like trying to tell us how to run the United States. Well, I think it's stupid. I have to test when I get here. I just tested when I left home, and now I've got to test again when I get here. Well, guess what? Don't travel.
Yeah, exactly.
But how about
the
migrants walking hundreds of miles and they're having symptoms of the worst disease ever known in the annals of history?
It's like
and they come walk across the border. If they're so sick, how are you walking hundreds of miles? Where do you get that kind of energy?
Mind over mind.
I don't know. Because it's one of those. Since I do these things, I've always gone with a premise: if you really want to know what's going on, follow the money. Follow the money, and you'll have a really good idea of what's going on. I'll just put it to this: Pfizer has really close ties with the U.S. government. They're one of the primary, sources for, I think, government, military, for shots. This is, Pfizer's profits right now are predicted to be somewhere in the orders of 85, not profits, sorry, revenue of close to 85 billion this year alone.
They could donate some money to me.
Well, and Pfizer just came out and said, hey, we think a 3rd shot is going to work even better. Well, of course they do, because as soon as I said that, I was like, dude, that's a straight money grab. The 1st shot didn't work. Well, maybe if you get a 2nd shot, it's going to work better. Okay, well, that doesn't work either. Well, what if you get a 3rd shot? That we really think that's going to work. And that kind of goes back to when I said with the stuff, it's like, I got my measles shot. I can't catch measles. I can't give you measles. I can't, I can go to a measles party and I'm not going to catch measles because I'm protected. I go, you get some people pressure, looking down on you and saying, well, why didn't you get this thing? You're like, I will take it as soon as it comes out and says, hey, guess what? You get this shot, you can't get it, and you can't transmit it to anybody. And then boom.
So is that the lie they have to tell people like you to get us to take
well,
it?
You could tell a lie, but the problem with that, Chris, is if you told the lie and you catch it, well, then you pretty much instantly know that it was a lie. Guess what? I don't have red dots all over myself. I don't have measles. I haven't caught measles.
Did you see when Fauci was talking about when America had its first Omicron case? It was in
California.
California,
mm-hmm.
and detected in a vaccinated traveler.
Lol. So what's the difference? How do we know the difference between COVID-19? I don't know what else, and now Omicron. What's the difference?
It's just a variant. It's a mutation of the COVID.
So you're telling me they're getting all that information from a swab of the nose. They know what kind of variant is in your nose when they swab it, and they send it off to the lab.
When they test it, then they can see it, and then they'll be able to test and see what variant, by the looks. Because mutation, like when a virus mutates, its characteristics, something in the structure of it changes, and that's how you can identify it. Like there might be another appendage that's come off, something that's broken, that's in a different position, and then that's how they know this is that main virus, but this is a different variation of it, and then they can tell. And so that's why I said it's Delta. Gone from Delta. Jared, welcome to the party here.
The joke was the next one is the next variant, if it happens, is like Qi or something, which is the leader of China.
Yeah, they skipped that one. They skipped that one. That's why they went to Omicron. Yeah.
We talked about it before on our special episodes. When I had my procedure a couple of weeks, probably months ago, I had to get COVID tested to make sure I didn't have any COVID-19. It was 2 days before my procedure. I was telling Craig and Chris that so I'm tested negative. What happens if I catch it in between before my procedure? What the hell is the point of taking a test? If 2 days later, what's the point of taking a test at all? Like,
I don't know. It's one of those things that, I just, Laura brought it up too, it's just about, and that's been one of the frustrations for this thing. And people have to ask is, there's all these double standards that are going on right now. She brought, families can't go see their loved ones that are dying in a hospital, but other instances, it's not that big of a deal. How many times do you go in you've got to wear a mask when you're in the lobby, but 6 feet further, you're sitting at the table and you're perfectly fine.
Yeah.
That's always been the thing, is there like this COVID force field that, doesn't allow this to go anywhere because, I always joke about it when I'm in the truck and, and we'll sit there, I'll take my mask off. I can't get me, I'm eating. Yeah. And then as soon as I stop eating, I'm like, oh crap, put my mask back on. Because, COVID's, I treat it like the ghost from Mario Brothers. It's like when you look at it, it doesn't move. As soon as you turn your back, the ghost comes after you. I'm like, it doesn't make, to me, it's just, some of these things don't make sense. Like the nurses and doctors and first responders, heroes of when everybody's getting sick, helping these things. But now all of a sudden they're a risk.
And you're firing people and you're laying people off.
They were the ones sitting there spending 16, 18 hours, working double shifts to keep people, survive. But now all of a sudden they're a risk. And you have to, it doesn't make sense.
You lay off 9,000 firefighters. 9,000 firefighters quit in New York because of the mandates. They don't want to take the vaccine. And in return, Ron DeSantis came out and said, we'll pay every single firefighter $10,000 to move down here and get a job. You just lost 9,000 men and women who put their life on the line all throughout the COVID pandemic and everything, and before that, because of a mandate. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's just...
I was about this too, there was, it makes you wonder, because we talked about it before, Craig, what's going on with school and stuff. I'm not afraid of the vaccine because obviously, like, with the third booster, it just seems like you take the 2 shots and it's not there anymore. You know what I mean? If you have to get a booster, that means, like, the vaccine really isn't your body anymore. That's what I feel like. So,
Well, that's
it's because you forced it. You know what I mean? I haven't taken the flu shot in 10 plus years, but because you're forcing something on somebody, it makes you really think of why you want it so bad.
Well, you think because when you normally take a booster, it's because it's been a while and you need to re-up. So anybody that's had, your MMR shot.
I had re-up my tetanus shot after 15 years.
You get these things. You come up and you get this, and like I said, you can't catch it. You can't get it now. But this one, everybody comes after you like, wait, what's the joke? I think the joke is, the vaccinated, aren't protected from the unvaccinated because the unvaccinated aren't taking the vaccine, that the vaccinated aren't protected. It just goes through this whole thing that basically the vaccinated shouldn't have anything to worry about, because if it actually worked and actually works like it's supposed to, you shouldn't be able to catch it. You shouldn't have a worry of this. It's like right now, I don't have a fear of somebody that doesn't have the measles shot because I can't catch it. Yeah. But if, like I said, you want people to get vaccinated because obviously you don't want to catch measles. Kind of sucks. Polio kind of sucks. You don't want to get these things. Take the shot. You don't catch them. I mean,
it's hard to bring up because everyone has their opinion. And
when
we say it does sound kind of stupid. Again, what happened to the flu, and how come every year they don't push the flu shot like they do in the vaccine? And it's common knowledge that the flu shot for this year is pretty much the symptoms from last. It's the same the flu from last year. So in reality, it's not doing shit for this year, but it helps a little bit. You never push that. It's like COVID, get your flu shot, get a $10 gift certificate to Publix if you're down south. But other than that, it's like that's it. Vaccines, like you have to get it. You're not allowed to travel. You're not allowed to go outside. You can't leave your house. It's like, why? What is so important about this vaccine that doesn't work? As we have seen through the NFL, through common places, in probably where you work, people had the vaccine and are still catching COVID.
They're giving people up to 15 years for fake COVID vaccine cards.
That's what happened to the Melbourne lady. She said, look, I tested negative, and she was lying about it, and they almost put her in jail for life. But they put her in the concentration camp. They put her in the COVID camp in Melbourne. And Melbourne, Australia.
Oh, I'm like, Melbourne?
Yeah, no, the cops literally came to her house, took her out of her house, and stuck her in a COVID camp until the quarantine, whatever dates it was. And she lost her job because of it. She can't go to work. She can't go grocery shopping. It's like, I think I shared it to you. I was talking to somebody about Germany started that recently. Germany is opening up COVID camps. And I was like, did you guys not learn from 60 years ago from these camps? Like, it doesn't look good when you guys doing it either. It's not. Yeah. It's
here's the thing about those camps.
You're putting people in camps for something you don't, they're not going along with what you want.
Well, here's the thing, like to go with these camps too. So for anybody that, people talk like the conspiracy thing, but I want you to think about this. They're currently building camps that won't be open until 2023.
Jesus.
So why?
Yeah, exactly.
If everything is working, so you have to really start worrying about what's coming, because if you're building an infrastructure for a year and a half from now, it means that either what you're seeing right now isn't going to work, or you have different plans coming. And so this is, this should be a wake-up call for everybody, because, when everybody talks about, you got Alex Jones, they turned over Alex Day, you got the, doing these crazy things like, they're building FEMA camps, they're going to throw people in the, their stuff. And you start seeing, you're like, craziness. No, it's happening in Australia.
Do you think he's planted stuff like that too? I know it's really often, but because of him, people like us who are just pretty common normal people are just trying to like, hey, this is kind of weird, right? And you have Alex Jones, they're putting us in camps and frogs are gay, and it's like, oh yeah, you're just one of those guys. We're not.
I think it's a combination. I think there's some sensationalism, that's from there just to, to the bombastic, just go out. Yeah. But there's also,
it's his brand.
Yeah, it's
God, man, it makes everybody look bad.
Hey, Harlan and Carlito, welcome to the show. Yeah, so, you're watching what years ago was just the crazy crackpot conspiracy theorist, things happening in real time. I mean, we're watching down in Australia now is, we're seeing, and that's the thing, and I think there's to a point, like there's probably, like you steer some things, but these ones, when you're looking at the stuff in real time, I mean, Australia doesn't have the freedoms like we have. I mean, America is the only one that truly has freedom of speech, even though that's being, slowly eroded away through, the different, everything from hate speech laws to, that's slowly being chipped away. But you can't go in many places of the world and even say the stuff we're saying tonight.
Oh,
you'll have, England, you're going to get smacked down for, they have a whole different set. But when you're watching, like I said, in real time, you're watching somebody, armed police walk up to the door, drag your spouse off to a quarantine camp, and there's nothing you can do about it. Because one, they don't have a Second Amendment. They don't have, they don't have the, so, that's not like here in America. I mean, so is this going to happen? Is the, NYPD going to come bust down a door and drag some out? No, they can't, because it's not the same system, but it's one of those, we're watching it happen in real time, and it could easily translate and transfer over to other parts. And we could see things happen right here, because it's one of those, it's scary, but, like I said, but it's just one of those things to definitely keep watching. And, as we're talking about this, okay, so Chris, you and me talked about this a little bit. Who's been following the Jesse Smollett case?
That's crazy.
Oh, you took this.
Sorry, I'm just talking to myself. Yep.
He took the stand, and the prosecutor, I think, started reading his text messages, and he snapped at him to tell, about the language that they're reading verbatim from his messages.
That's funny, man.
Yeah,
we go back to the same thing. I mean, I keep bringing up 105.9 because I listen to it, but I didn't realize how much the media is portrayed. I mean, twisted things too. But then same thing with the Kyle Rittenhouse thing. It was like 2 weeks of nonstop live shots, and okay, that's all done. Then we, like you said, with the Ghislaine Maxwell stuff, there's no live coverage. We barely hear about it. Why? This is the biggest thing in the world.
The reason is because there's a lot of senators, congressmen, both parties, people, not just one party. Both parties are heavily involved in this. The royal family, leaders, elite, everybody is involved in this thing. Everybody thinks, see, I knew Trump was on the Lolita Express. No. Bill Clinton, actors, politicians, musicians, this goes, and everybody is freaking out because this woman can name names. I mean, it's a conspiracy theory.
How she's lived this long is beyond me.
Oh, I don't know how it's. I think it's mainly because it's so focused right now. We have that Epstein didn't kill himself. Well, it's they say he hung himself. There's just way too many things that happened. The cameras just happened to go out at that exact moment.
It's we're not stupid.
It's just all asleep at the same moment that the cameras went offline.
Yeah, it's just, and that's where.
Okay, go back to that. What was that? Last year, 2 years ago? When did that
happen?
happen?
Epstein?
Yeah.
Oh no, that was
Epstein.
That was a couple years ago.
2-3 years ago, at least.
3 years ago. What happened right after that?
Time goes by fast.
Because every time something happens, something else has to happen, and then we forget about this.
Oh yeah, it's always a distraction. I'd have to look and see the current. I mean, I think everybody can agree with this. Does the last 5 years not feel like it's been decades?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was just telling Chris when you left for a split second, I said, dude, it's crazy how it's December 8th, 2021. It seems like Joe Biden just became president. We were still in COVID protocols, and 2020 just flew by.
Yeah.
2020 took forever, obviously, and then 2021,
it's almost been a year.
Like January, boom. What the hell?
Somebody hit the fast forward button. It's completely fast forwarded. But
Wait, maybe he's putting the quarter in his machine real quick so it doesn't drop out.
But, hey, Craig, you were.
Jaron, we got to figure that out somehow.
I don't know what happened.
We might have to do this more often because this is kind of fun. As long as we don't get ourselves popped and banned. But everybody keep tuning in. It's great.
This year just completely flew by, and they actually started a new trial today. Another trial on top of all the other trials. The little minority kid that was shot in the where the lady forgot her gun, and she was reaching for her her taser, but she shot him instead with her gun. I didn't realize she was on the force for 22 years. So how do you mistake your gun for your taser?
Yeah,
that one just started.
I don't know. That's in Minnesota too.
Yeah. No, it's actually in Chicago. That one, I think.
Was it Chicago? I thought it was Minneapolis as well.
No, Chicago, I think. But yeah, that trial just started today. Another trial on top of all the other stuff we got going on.
Yeah, that was. Because that was. I'm trying to remember what see, there's so many things going on right now.
That's my point.
Yeah, it's
just like we are so overwhelmed. If you turn on the media, you have any number 4 or 5 trials. They're going to become high-profile trials, except for the Maxwell trial. But you're all just everyone's going to be distracted with this one, and I can't believe this person wasn't put on the stand, or the analyzing the lawyers and how they did not make the case.
Oh, and this is the other one. Laura, we'll get to this here in a second here. Joanne, hey, welcome to the show. I want to show this to everybody. Does anybody know about what's going on with the CIA? Has anybody heard about this?
No.
BuzzFeed broke this. CIA has been involved. The staffers have been viewing child porn while in the field and doing. So you go through this. I believe it was one employee, like this one. Like I said, warning everybody, this is going to get kind of a little graphic. But one employee had sexual contact with a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. They viewed up to 1,400 sexually abusive images on CIA systems. This is, you can go like BuzzFeed.com. You can see this stuff. This isn't this isn't tabloid. This is legit. The CIA was involved in underage kids. They were downloading child porn. There was even one that was subscribed to a child porn site.
Why is there even
And this is the CIA. And so for anybody that wants to talk about, I don't, like they said, with politics be damned. I don't care about the side here. This should piss off everybody. Everybody should be mad as hell about this right now, because this isn't just something like you're flipping through then like, oh my God, look, this just popped up my screen. Downloads, subscriptions. This is CIA employees and contractors. This isn't just somebody rated, and somebody decided to pass it around the office. This is intentional stuff done by the CIA. This has, and nobody's talking about this.
Why would they?
We're all talking about Omicron and how Bob down the street is endangering us all because he doesn't get vaccinated. And Joanne, you want to hear, we could talk about current thing. Have you guys been hearing about all the the native tribal people up in Canada that they're finding the mass graves?
What?
Yeah, you haven't been hearing about that. That's the thing. There's huge things up there
from
where
school.
Yeah, it's borderline genocide up in Canada.
What?
Just look it up. I can search it up real quick and I can bring up the.
You said Canada mass genocide?
Yeah, just of the tribal people. It's like these schools, they're finding mass graves of all these bodies, the kids that were buried, just horrendous conditions. I mean, you think of almost like an orphanage where they're just killing the kids.
Yeah, and then there's seems to be.
Oh, and Chris, you were correct. It is not just limited to the CIA. Absolutely not. No.
Yeah, Craig, there seems to be a serial killer in like British Columbia and whatever interstate that is. It runs north to south. There was a book written on all these women that are disappearing along that road.
Oh, I would be at least a bit surprised. I mean, if you can find that, message that, send that to me, like that info. I'll look that up. Because I'm kind of fascinated by that. I mean, and everybody, if you guys are enjoying this, this forum, like how we're talking right now, just let us know. Like I said, we can keep this, we can do this more often. Because like I said, this is
182 human remains were they found ground penetrating radar, found 182 human remains in that gravesite.
That's one site, and Sarah just said it's in all the residential school locations.
In May, the remains of 250 children, some as young as 3 years old, were found buried on the site of what was once Canada's largest Indigenous residential school.
Yep.
Jesus God.
Yeah, and this is going on. This is going on in Canada, and like I said, it's one of the priests called out other priest about. Let's see, I'll put it up here on the screen for everybody.
1970s, more than 150 Indigenous children were forced to attend state-funded Christian schools, as the majority of them run by Roman Catholic missionary. And it says the Canadian government. What's that?
That they're currently, the number's over 7,000.
The Canadian government has admitted that physical and sexual abuse was rampant in the schools, which students were beaten for speaking their native langenlanguages. This was the 1970s.
Yeah, this wasn't
from the 19th century up to the 1970s.
Yeah, this wasn't like years ago. There's like hundreds of years ago we did this. No, this is recent. This is within my lifetime.
Oh my God,
Craig, there's the book.
Okay, thank you.
Highway of Tears.
Highway of Tears. Okay. Yeah, and this is what Chris. Hey, I've got in. That's the thing is, I thought this would be kind of a fun thing. Just like I said, barring that we don't get zucked or, Twitter takes us down. But I was going to go back to what. Let's see. I'm trying to I want to credit who brought that up about. I was Laura. So this is the other one, where this is the problem with something like this. Before the election, the Hunter Biden story came out about the stuff he was doing with his laptop and everything. Twitter and stuff banned anything about that. They dropped it, and same with Facebook. They didn't allow this on the site at all. Well, this stuff was completely true. This isn't tabloid. This was completely true. Everything was complete. And they didn't allow it to be posted and published until after the election. And so this falls under the same thing where, this goes in stark thing where they don't, I always butcher this one, I'd have to look at what they call themselves. There's a distinction between whether you're a publisher or I can't remember what the one is. Just where one, if you declare yourself one, you're bound by free speech. But if you're the other, you can allow whatever you want. If somebody knows that one, help me out with that one, so I don't sound too much like an idiot on that topic. But yeah, kind of going back to the thing here, where this is the thing that is just driving me crazy. Is everybody is so focused on this, who's getting vaccinated, who's not, mandates, they're doing this stuff, that this kind of stuff is going completely ignored and nobody's paying attention to it. I mean, like Austin's right now, his mind's blown. And this is stuff that was been in the news here recently, that this stuff's being discovered.
Back in July, this happened.
Yeah. And so this, it was there a little bit, but it's more important to talk about Delta. The Delta variant is coming here. This is more, the saying, if it bleeds, it leads, blood, death, that whole, unless it's underage kids, then that doesn't get on the front page, because we got to bury that because our boss is one of the ones involved. And so this is, it's abhorrent. I don't understand. I mean, I feel like this is something that everybody could come together on, but nobody is. I don't understand it. I mean, maybe you guys can help me, audience. Maybe you guys can help me understand why this is something that we can't all band together on.
Correct.
Mhm.
Maybe it'll provide couple ideas from literature. I did spent part of the afternoon looking for a couple passages I might be able to read in the Federalist Papers, in number 26. Alexander Hamilton wrote, "Schemes to subvert the liberties of a great community require time to mature them for execution." Okay, that was written almost, reading it almost on the anniversary, December 22nd, 1787. I don't know how, that's what, 240 some years or around there. Isn't that almost like, doesn't that almost sound like Hamilton in the 18th century was being a conspiracy theorist?
Mm-hmm.
Schemes.
Oh yeah.
Schemes to subvert the liberties of a great community require time to mature them for execution. So that idea has been around for a long time. And then there's also, I was going through Milton's prose writings. Here's I'm reading from Areopagitica. It was written in something like 1643. 1644, sorry. And he wrote, "Give me the liberty to know, to utter, and to argue freely according to conscience, above all liberties." Chris
is dying down there. Allergies are kicking his ass.
COVID.
That's basically a First Amendment idea about 40 years before the First Amendment of the Bill of Rights.
Well, yeah, they saw it. I mean, they saw back that, just the need for it, just from King George in the time, just how the importance of being able to utter ideas. And we can see that, we can even see now, just when shadow banning, when all of a sudden you look up there and you, like, right now we have 11 people watching live. Well, all of a sudden you'll watch it drop to 0. You can see it in real time. I mean, we experienced that. What was it, last week, when it showed 0 up there, and it was one of those, you can see it in real time when things are being squashed, and it's like, how do you do that? Yeah. Laura, bless you, Chris. 6 feet to stay. Yeah, we're social distance at least 6 feet. I know that. Yeah. We got at least 6 miles apart, so We're good. Mark's safe up there in West Virginia. He's safe. The snow is keeping it down.
With the snow, I wish I was there.
But no, I know, I agree. This is going to be the eternal debate. It's like, what, how do we control this thing? Because right now the gatekeepers can lock the door at any time, and there's nothing we can do.
But what's since we've been talking about all the started off talking about the geopolitics, some of the banning associated with mentioning the vaccines and that other Rona treatments. What's the difference between 1644, 1787, and now? You would think that there's been all this evolution of thought as we move into the future, and it's actually gotten more. It's kind of like going back to medieval times, and you don't agree with me? We're gonna put you in the Iron Maiden, or
those are some twisted, people, man, back there. It came up with some of those torture devices.
The torture stuff. It just seems like this between 1787 and now. There's the Nazi philosophy, and that is still being glommed onto by some people. What's their connection? Why are they wanting to revert what we do on these shows to like a medieval type philosophy where we can only say what you agree with?
Yeah, that's just it. I mean, it's like, we fight these. I mean, you look down the line. I mean, it's all just. I was just looking through the list here of like headlines again, and it's amazing. Some of the stuff that's going on. And like I said, and like this one, you've got Elon Musk, saying that he's going to put the brain chips in all this. He wants the Neuralink stuff to start going into humans starting next year.
Why is there this denial of the person who God made?
Yeah, I don't know.
I just it's just like when the Rona started, there was absolutely no discussion whatsoever about building up your immune system. Immunity can come from like just being around it. You get it, and you do develop a natural immunity. But it was the virus appeared, and it was immediately discussing, okay, we're working on a vaccine. And it's just science has replaced God in some of people's opinions.
Yeah, well, it's some people, it's a version, it's basically, they don't like to view it that way, but it's a religion, it's they worship at the altar of
Dr. Fauci.
Yeah,
he's our Lord and Savior to some.
Yeah, and that's one of those things too. It's just here's we that's a subject for a whole nother day, because we got a few minutes here left. But yeah, it's as while we're getting running here, it's like, did anybody come across any headlines or anything that they're wanting to talk about? Anybody in the audience, and just anybody bring up? I mean, because there's so much stuff going on right now.
There's the banning of the Chinese Olympics. China.
Yeah, I saw a little bit about that one.
Yeah, what's the real story there? Reagan did that for the, was it 1980 Olympics?
Yeah, that I'm not sure, because that was a little bit before my time. Because it wasn't. I mean, I was 5, but I mean, it's like I wasn't able to pay, at 5 you're not really paying attention to geopolitics all that much. Right. It's so.
I think it was 1980, but it's been done. I feel sorry for the athletes who have trained for the last over 3 years.
They're not stopping the athletes from going. What I was reading, they're only not sending any representation.
Oh, okay.
So they're not stopping the athletes. She was like, I can't wait. The spokesperson, whoever was talking, was like, we're not stopping the athletes because they train, like you were saying. Mm-hmm. We're only not sending representation from the United States there. So we're boycotting. I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay. Well, I think in 1980, no American athletes participated.
Yeah, they boycotted it then, but they didn't let any athletes participate.
Okay, so it's not. Okay, thanks for correcting me. I knew there was some.
I'm just going to let everybody read that headline before so the guys that are on the show are reading this for the first time. So the article it's from Al Jazeera, that dozens of camels are barred from a Saudi beauty contest over Botox use. So I'm looking at it. Contest organizers say they're going to impose strict penalties on manipulators as they attempt to halt all acts of tampering and deception. So I had no idea that there was a beauty contest for camels.
That's a bad camel. It had Botox. That's a badass camel.
So it's just, I don't even know where to begin that there's a beauty contest for a camel. Joanne, yeah, exactly. I'm like, this is a thing. Yeah, beauty contest for is like, but the fact that it's like Botox, it's like I got to improve my camel's appearance with some Botox. Yeah, it's the camel beauty contest is the heart of a massive carnival in Saudi Arabia. So, it's Saudi Arabia's popular King Abdulaziz Camel Festival. And to compete for some $66 million in prize money for the most beautiful camels.
Oh, hey! By the way, while you're pulling up, just the last few minutes.
I mean, I take it back now. I'm gonna go get a camel, and we're gonna start working on this for $66 million in prizes. Okay, I'm all in.
maybe if you feed him all natural food and keep him inside, maybe you'll have a pretty camel. Because they're banning people from doing Botox. So maybe if you have a camel inside and just treat it really nice, and keep it.
Yeah, that's Chris. I think I saw something, like somebody on Twitter or something that was talking about something like this. I don't know all the details, but yeah, a lot of military planes. I mean, that could be too. That with going to DEFCON 3, that they may be moving assets, to different points for readiness, because you're going to need to have, and that'd be something, if anybody that's paying attention, if we see more people moving towards each coast, it could be for readiness, because it's going to be a lot easier to get somebody from a base on the East Coast across, and from the West Coast across, than it is if they're in the middle of the country. You're going to shave a couple hours off the trip. So that's so that, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, I said, if anybody's paying attention to that, I would definitely. And then I'm trying to see if I could, and then I know I saw another one that somebody had to be rescued from a submerged car that was at the brink of the Niagara Falls.
No, some family actually got closure today. They found their son that was trying to go back to Auburn. He left Georgia and was headed back to Auburn. They found him. They actually found his 1974, I want to say, Pinto in the water. They discovered the car today. I guess he must have had an accident and he's been submerged in the water for that long. That's trending. Pull it up. That's trending right now.
Is it on like Twitter or something?
Should be on Fox.
Yeah, I'll have to look here. I don't have that up. No, that's yeah, other than that, I don't really, if there's anything else that we could do, but yeah, I mean, if everybody enjoyed this, I mean, like I said, put in the comments, message us, let us know, because we could do this again, because this is a lot of fun, just talking about the stuff and just feeling, letting it all out, not being afraid to talk about it, because it's one of those, any questions that people have. Yeah, and then I'm looking to see if there's anything else here, but it's just, yeah, I don't, other than that, I'm not sure. I don't really. Oh, this is, it kind of goes along with what we were talking about a little
burning
bit.
Tree.
Oh, that is interesting. The headline disappeared in real time. I was just getting ready to click on it to show you, but Twitter has been dropping some accounts that are giving live updates on the Ghislaine Maxwell case.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and that was the one I was just getting ready to click, and all of a sudden it's no longer there to click. Yeah, that just got taken down.
So if I want to get kicked off of Twitter, just start uploading stuff about the trial?
No, you're not even, like, you'd have to live tweet as it's happening. Anybody can make stuff, but yeah, that's weird. But that's all right. So yeah, everybody, it's like they enjoyed it. So yeah, I want to do it till they shut it down. It's one of those. If we do that, we're gonna have to build the fan base to where we have our, everybody could go to our site and watch us, stuff. But we don't have that yet. So yeah, we'll do this again. I think we got I think we got some open
Good
dates
discussion.
coming up. Like I said, I don't have a problem doing this at all. This was a lot of fun. Yeah,
It really was.
It was. Everybody was intuitive, interactive.
Yeah, but everybody, please pay attention. Talk about it, share it, get people that aren't normally paying attention to just really start looking at the stuff that's going on, especially with everything. Like, look into that. Everybody go to Buzzsprout. That's how we publish our thing. Go to buzzfeed.com and look up that thing about the CIA. It's going to blow your mind when you read the stuff that was with the underage kids in the child porn. That was, basically, whether they want to admit it or not, sanctioned by the CIA. I mean, this is on government computers. You can't tell me that this doesn't, that there's no flagging, that this stuff, I mean, this shouldn't be allowed. I mean, you shouldn't be able to even look up porn on a government computer, let alone, child porn. So check that out. Go to, BuzzFeed. I mean, amazing, they actually broke this thing, because, heaven forbid somebody like CNN, Fox News, somebody like that actually does their job. MSNBC, no, you got to leave it to the one that usually does the best cat videos, who's the hottest plumber in the U.S. type stories. Yeah, and you go to BuzzFeed, and they're the ones that break this. Yeah, exactly, Chris. Yeah, so his thing. Who do you think runs the dark websites? Yes, exactly, CIA, and that's the thing. This is an absolute scandal. So, but yeah, as the producer is prompting, check us out on social media, everybody. Thank you for watching. Like I said, we are looking for a sponsor. So anybody knows a sponsor, put us their way. We would absolutely love it. We're still looking to help us pay pay for the bills here, but you can also help us out. Patreon.com, 3 Beards Podcast, or go to 3beardspodcast.com, go to the gear shop, or go to redbubble.com, 3 Beards Podcast, and buy merchandise. Support us there. Like, follow, subscribe on social medias. We are on pretty much all the major ones now: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, obviously YouTube, Facebook. We're here, and we are rebroadcast on ERRT Radio, 11 p.m. ish Wednesday, just depending on what time Ron gets us put up there after Joey and Tanya into the outer realms. And so, Mark, if there's anything you'd like to plug, sir, Nightlight, anything, do that right now, and just before we sign off.
Yeah, Barbara and I do our shows usually on Mondays and Tuesdays. You can tune in by going to barbaradelong.com, and there's a events up in the right-hand corner, and you can see what time and shows guests we have coming up. Also just want to thank you for this opportunity of being here tonight. I think we probably touch on enough subjects that will cause us to get taken down pretty quickly.
I think we might have skirted it too. We could at least make the case that it was about questioning. It wasn't conspiracy. They're putting nanoparticulates inside of the thing, and they're trying to control. We didn't go to. We didn't go in any crazy directions. So I don't think we're going to get shut down for that. I mean, what are they going to fact check us on? That the vaccine doesn't in fact keep you from catching COVID? I mean, that's CDC has it right there on the page. I mean, it's like, I didn't say anything that isn't a factual, fact checkers. It was a fact. So, I don't know what you want to do here, but everybody, thank you for watching. Yes, we'll do this. We'll do this again. We appreciate that. Chris, Joanne, Jaron, Harlan, just
great group of people in the chat room.
Yeah, everybody in the chat room. Just thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. So, Jaron, too, as well. Everybody, thanks again, and we will see you on the next one. Good night.